Now we shall start a new method for solving a cubic equation, or you can say the cubic polynomial equation. And this method is named as Cardan's method. So in 1570, there is a one formula, the Cardan's formula you will see here. This formula is basically the Cardan's formula. And from that you can find out the solution of the cubic equation x cube plus px plus q equals to 0. And you can recall one important basic facts. Every cubic polynomial must have at least one real root. Because we know every polynomial of odd degree has one real root, at least one real root. And here the degree of the polynomial is 3. This is an odd number, so it must have one real root. And also you will see here, if we consider the equation x cube minus 1, now the question is what are the roots? The roots is 1 omega omega square, where omega is imaginary cube root of unity. And in that case, omega is minus of plus I root 3 by 2 and omega square equals to minus of minus iota root 3 by 2. Since omega is a cube root of unity, so we can write omega cube equals to 1 and as well as 1 plus omega square equals to 0. So the main thing is the Cardan's method is basically one important method by which we can solve any general cubic polynomial equation. And this method is important in BSc, IIT joint entrance, NEET, GATE, SET, TIFR, NVHM. You will see many problems that is given from the Cardan's method. Now we will continue. So here the recall what exactly the polynomial equation of degree 3, or you can say the cubic equation. So a cubic equation, the general form of a cubic equation is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, that is equals to 0, where a, b, c, d, the coefficient is either real or complex and a is basically non-zero. Now the question is, what is the degree of the cubic equation? So degree of this cubic equation, if I say this is fx, so here degree of fx equals to 3. Next important recall that we know every polynomial of odd degree must have at least one real root. And hence the cubic equation must have one real root. At least one real root. Why? Since degree of cubic equation is basically 3, which is an odd number. Now we are interested to find out the general solution. So next recall, to find out the general solution of a cubic equation, we must use the Cardan's method. Cardan's method. That is actually the topic for this class, Cardan's method. How to use the Cardan's method and how you will solve a cubic polynomial, or you can say the polynomial of degree 3. So what should be the solution? This is important. But okay, here we will see two kind of cubic equation. We will divide the cubic equation into two types. Recall the general form of the cubic equation: x cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equals to 0, where all a, b, c, d belongs to either real or complex and a is not equals to 0. Otherwise, it will not form a cubic equation. Now, from this cubic equation, we will produce two type of cubic equation that we consider as type 1. So, type 1 here, ax cube plus cx plus d equals to 0, that we consider type 1, where a is basically non-zero and a, c, d all are real number. In this type, what is the main important point that we need to observe? So here you will see the coefficient of x square. This is equals to 0. That means b equals to 0. That makes the type 1. And that is other important type. This is type 2, where a0 and a1 are a is non-zero and coefficient of x square, this is equals to b is also non-zero. So that means it is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equals to 0, where a non-zero, b non-zero. So this point is important. The coefficient of x square not equals to 0, and this makes exactly the type 2. So all are real or complex. So on the basis of this type, we will solve the problem. So here I will take the one of the most important problem, which has been given in different graduate course. That means in BSc in mathematics honors or pass, you will see this problem, and this problem is very, very important. I'll start from type 1, then I will move to type 2. So now I will continue type 1. Type 1, that means the coefficient of x square is basically 0, and it looks like ax cube plus bx plus c, the cubic equation, where ABC either real or complex and a is non-zero. So this kind of problem we will solve first, then we will continue the type 2. So I will solve it with the help of example. With the help of example. This example is very, very important in BSc level, or you can say in joint entrance level or in BHM, like this. That the question is solve the cubic equation x cube minus 27x minus 54 equals to 0. Just you observe the coefficient of x square is basically 0. So that means it comes under the type 1 and it is also a cubic equation. So in that case, what we will do, we will move the type 1 stepwise. So here we will write the procedure or algorithm for solving the problem. Step 1, you just write the given equation. Write the given equation and observe coefficient of x square is 0 or not. If yes, then we go to the step 2. solution. The given equation, cubic equation, is x cube minus 27x minus 54 equals to 0. And here you just observe coefficient of x square is 0, so that comes under the type 2. Now we write it equation 1, and you will give this will be your equation 1. That we consider fx equals to 0, equation 1. Now step 2, we just put x equals to u plus, need to use the substitution, x equals to u plus v, and put it in the equation 1 and put it in equation 1 and we get equation 2. And after that we compare it. So now we come to step 2. What we will do here, we'll let x equals to u plus v. That substitution is required to solve this cubic equation with the help of Cardan's method. Then what we will get? Then x cube will be u plus v whole cube, and that you can write u cube plus v cube plus 3uv multiple u plus v. U plus v is your x, so that means u cube plus v cube plus 3uv into x. So that we can write x cube minus 3uv into x minus u cube plus v cube. That will be 0. This is our equation 2. Now we will compare it with 1. Compare it with 1. So what we will get? So comparing, therefore comparing 1 and 2, what we get? We get, just compare 3uv. This is equals to 27, and u cube plus v cube. This is equals to 54. So comparing the given equation, you will see uv and u cube plus v cube. Now we move to the step 3. We'll eliminate v. So just you consider this is equals to 3, and this equation you will consider as 4. So this is equals to 3 and this equation is 4. So that we can write is uv equals to 9 and u cube plus v cube equals to 54. So that is 3 and the simplification, and this is equation number 4. Now we are eliminating v from 3 and 4. So we eliminating v from equation 3 and equation 4. That will be the next step. How to eliminate? So eliminating v from 3 and 4. So what we will get? Now we'll move to step 3. Eliminating v from 3 and 4. We get, or we have, u cube plus v cube. So you know uv equals to 9. So that means v equals to u by 9. So in position of v, we put u by 9, that whole cube. This is 54. Now you will do the simplification. That will be u cube. So this will be 9 by u. So 9 by u. Okay, so u cube whole square minus 54 u cube plus 9 by u. So 9 cube, this is equals to 0. That means it is u cube whole square minus 54 u cube plus 7 to 9. This is equals to 0. Now we will come to the step 4. So what will this is v equals to 9 by u. Now we move to the step 4. Step 3 is done. So what will be our step 4? Find u cube and v cube. Find u cube and v cube and solve them. To get u and v, in corresponding order. So now we will solve this problem. Here you just consider, this is the rough work. Note, we just consider u cube equals to t. So in that case, the equation will be t square minus 54t plus 7 to 9 equals to 0. So how to solve? So that will be t minus 27 whole square equals to 0. So that means your t value is 27, 27. So t is u cube. So from that you can write u cube minus 27. That whole square equals to 0. And hence the value of u cube is 27, 2 times. So we are considering u cube equals to 27. Then what will be v cube? Then our v cube will be, u cube plus v cube. Since u cube plus v cube equals to 54, just you will see here, by 4 u cube plus v cube equals to 54. So v cube will be 54 minus 27. So this is also 27. So now we will solve u cube equals to 27. Okay. That is also used important trick. If u cube equals to some lambda cube or x cube equals to some lambda cube where lambda is a real number. So what is the value of x? That will be lambda omega and lambda omega square. Where omega is imaginary cube of root of unity. So from that we can write u equals to 3 omega square. What is omega? Where omega is an imaginary cube root of unity. What exactly mean? That is omega cube equals to 1 and 1 plus omega square, this value equals to 0. Again you will see what is your v cube? V cube equals to 27. What is the value of v? This is also 3 omega square. Where omega is imaginary cube root of unity. Okay. Now we come to next steps. So here you will apply and you will be in corresponding order. Here by applying the relation 3 and 4. So now you know here uv equals to since uv equals to 9. So what exactly mean? So u equals to 3. You know, you have three values, 3 omega, 3 omega square. We also have 3 omega, 3 omega square. But we need the corresponding value of u and v. So u equals to v equals to 3. That corresponds to v equals to 3. Because 3 into 3, that multiplication will be 9. And u equals to 3 omega, that corresponds to v equals to 3 omega square, not 3 omega. 3 omega square, because 3 omega into 3 omega square, that will be 9 omega cube, and omega cube means 1. And u equals to 3 omega square, that corresponds to v equals to 3 omega. So these are the corresponding solution of u and v. So now we come to the next step. So this is basically step 5. So what is step 5? Now we'll think about, since x equals to u plus v, that we substitute earlier. So put the values of u and v 3 times, in corresponding order, So now here we come to the next steps. What we will do here, since x equals to u plus v, so what is the value of x? 3 correspond to 3. So here u value is 3. 3 omega corresponding to 3 omega square. So 3 omega plus 3 omega square. This is x value, this is y value. And 3 omega square, that is corresponds to 3 omega. So that means, that is our x equals to 6, 3 into omega plus omega square, 3 into omega square plus omega. What we know, omega is imaginary cube root of unity. So that means 1 plus omega square equals to 0. And here we can write omega plus omega square equals to minus 1. So that is x equals to 6 minus 3 minus 3. So thus we get the solution. So now step 6, you will write the answer. The solution is, you write the value of x. That will be your conclusion part. So now we come to the conclusion part. Thus, the solution of the given cubic equation with the help of Cardan's method are 6 minus 3 minus 3. So now this question has been asked in MCQ type. So if we think about the MCQ type, next the number of real roots of the equation x cube minus 27x minus 54 equals to 0 is option A, no real root, option B, 1 real root, option C, 2 real root, and option D, 3 real root. And here we solved it with the help of Cardan's method. The number of roots are 3. What are the roots? Here the roots are, you observed it, this is 6 minus 3 minus 3. So these are the roots. So obviously here the option D is correct and all other options are false. Maybe the question is like this: the number of positive real roots of the equation, cubic equation x cube minus 27x minus 54 equals to 0 is option A, 0, 1, 2, and option D, 3. You will see the number of positive root is 6. These are the roots, so number of positive roots is 1 because 6 is the only positive roots. So option 1 is correct, all other options are false. So in that way, the question is asked as an MCQ type question. Now we come to the second problem. Okay, I'll give you one exercise. This is your homework. Exercise that you will solve. The exercise is solve the cubic equation x cube minus 9x plus 28 equals to 0. Solve this cubic equation. So this is also very important. Okay. And hence if you have asked the question, the number of real roots of the cubic equation x cube minus 9x plus 28 equals to 0 is option A 0, option B 1, option C 2 and option D 3. You know this is a cubic equation, so obviously cubic equation, that means degree is 3. This is odd degree, so odd degree means the number of real roots must be at least 1. So here the degree of fx is 3. This is an odd number, so it has either at least one real root. Every odd degree polynomial must have one real root, so the real root may be 1 or 3. Okay, so option A and C are discarded. So now you need to check it will be 1 or 3. So what you will do, you will solve it with the help of Cardan's method, and you will see the roots are minus 4, minus 3 omega plus omega square, and minus 3 omega square plus omega. But omega is imaginary cube root of unity. So there is only one real root and other two real root are complex numbers. So option B is correct and option D is false. So this type of question has been asked as an MCQ type question. And you have also another homework. Example 2, solve x cube minus 12x plus 8 equals to 0. All are very important problem. Now we come to the next type, that means type 2. So what is exactly said in type 2? So that will be cubic equation, but coefficient of x square must be non-zero. And here the cubic equation looks like ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equals to 0. But here a non-zero and coefficient of x square is non-zero, that means b must be non-zero, and cd may be 0 or not 0, either real or complex. So coefficient are either real or complex, but the first two coefficient, that means x cube and x square, both are non-zero. So here the main type cubic equation, but coefficient of x square is non-zero. So we'll think about the example. So as for example, we just consider x cube minus 15x square minus 33x plus 847. This is equals to 0. So this problem is also important in Calcutta University BSc level examination. This is very important. So now we'll solve this problem. The problem is very important in graduation level. So the given equation, solve the equation. Here the problem is solve the equation. Solve the equation x cube minus 15x square minus 33x plus 847. This is equals to 0. And here you just observe the coefficient of x square is non-zero. So if the coefficient of x square is non-zero, that comes under the type 2. But okay, when we will do the type 2, we need to think more steps. Okay, so what are the steps? We apply further transformation. So step 1, you will write the given equation. The given cubic equation is, this is x cube minus 15x square minus 33x plus 847. This is equals to 0. Now we need to apply the transformation. That will be the step 2. So what is the transformation? Let us apply the transformation. So that you can consider step 1. Now we come to the step 2. So what is the transformation? So the transformation is x equals to y plus h. Why x equals to y plus h? Because we are trying to remove the coefficient of x square. That means we are trying to vanish the coefficient of x square in the given equation, and we make it in type 1. We try to reduce it to type 1. So x equals to y plus h. In order to remove the second degree term. So then what will be the transformed equation? Then the transformed equation is, just you put y plus h in position of x. So that will be y plus h whole cube minus 15 y plus h whole square minus 33 y plus h plus 847. This is equals to 0. Now with simplification, what we will get? We will get y cube plus something into y square plus something into y plus some constant equals to 0. Now you will do the simple calculation. Here you find out here y cube is coming from this term. Now we move to there is no other y cube. So we move to the y square coefficient. So from here we get y square coefficient. That will be 3h. And from here we get y square, that will be minus 15. There is no y square term here. So now we come to the y coefficient. Y coefficient come from here. So that will be 3h square. From here that will be minus 30h. From here that will be minus 33. And the constant term will be here h cube. So h cube minus 15h square minus 33h plus 847. You will see this is exactly the equation. The equation in x, it is equation in h. So, but okay, this is a constant term. You can verify. So now what we have done here, to remove the second degree term. If we remove the second degree term, the coefficient of y square must be 0. So that means 3h minus 15, that means coefficient of y square must be 0. Otherwise we can't remove the second degree term. So what is the value of h? The value of h equals to 5. And hence therefore the equation reduces to, for h equals to 5, and hence the equation reduces to, this will be y cube minus 108y. Just you put the value of h here, h equals to 5. That will be 0. That will be minus 108. And you just put the value is here, h value is 5. So it will be 432. So plus 432 equals to 0. So this is exactly looks like type 1. Because the coefficient of y square is vanishes. This was our target. And that's why we apply the suitable transformation. X equals to y plus h. Now we will continue, but we will proceed as type 1. So what will be the transformation again? So this is 2. Let in position x plus h, we will write y equals to u plus v. So then it will be y cube minus 3uvy minus e cube plus v cube equals to 0. That will be 3. Now comparing 2 and 3, Just we will continue as type 1. So comparing 2 and 3, what we get? We get 3uv equals to 108 and u cube plus v cube equals to minus 432. So that means uv equals to 36 and u cube plus v cube, this is equals to minus 432. So this is equation 4 and this is equation 5. Okay. So uv and u cube plus v cube, that value is arrived. Now we try to eliminate v from 4 and 5. So what we will write? Eliminating v from 4 and 5. What we get? So we get u cube plus 36 by u whole cube. This is equals to minus 432, because since uv equals to 36, that implies v equals to 36 by u. So that means it will be u cube whole square minus, that will be plus 432 u cube plus 36 whole cube. This is equals to 0. Now you will do the simple calculation. This will be u cube plus 216 whole cube, that whole square is 0, or you can take u cube equals to t. So from that, this will be u cube equals to minus 216, minus 216. So now move to the next step to take u cube equals to 216. So obviously then v cube minus 216, then v cube is also minus 216. Why? Since e cube plus v cube equals to minus 432 by 5. So now we'll use this result, this fact. What is the fact? The fact is, if x cube equals to some lambda or t cube equals to some lambda, lambda is a real number, and if it is a negative real number and lambda less than 0, so lambda cube, where lambda is less than lambda cube, so minus lambda cube, and lambda belongs to R plus, then what is the value of t? That value of t will be minus lambda omega square, where omega is cube root of unity. So here now e cube equals to minus 6 cube. So from that case you can write u equals to minus 6 omega minus 6 omega square. What is omega? Where omega is an imaginary cube root of unity. That means omega cube equals to 1 and 1 plus omega square equals to 0. Again you will see our v cube is equals to minus 216, that means minus 6 cube. So that means v is also minus 6 omega minus 6 omega square. For omega is an imaginary cube root of unity, and omega cube equals to 1 and 1 plus omega square equals to 0. Now we need to think about the corresponding u and v. So since uv equals to 36, next step, since uv equals to 36, So which u correspond to which v, that we need to discuss here. So u equals to 6 minus 6 corresponds to v equals to minus 6. U equals to minus 6 omega corresponds to v equals to minus 6 omega square. And u equals to minus 6 omega square corresponds to v equals to minus 6 omega. So therefore, what is the value of y? You know y equals to u plus v. Since y equals to u plus v, so y equals to minus 6 correspond to minus 6 here, u and v. So that is minus 6 minus 6 omega minus 6 omega square, and minus 6 omega square minus 6 omega. So that is what is your y? That is minus 12 minus 6 omega plus omega square minus 6 here omega square plus omega. And you know 1 plus omega square equals to 0, as omega is imaginary cube root of unity. So that is y equals to minus 12 plus 6 plus 6. Why? Because omega plus omega square equals to minus 1. Just you put the value and you will get. So now since x equals to x plus h, x equals to y plus h, so that means y plus 5, because our h is basically 5. So from that we can write x equals to, so y value is minus 12, minus 12 plus 5, minus 6 plus 5, and also next 6 plus 5. So that means here x value is minus 7, 11 and 11. So we solve it. Hence the roots of the equation. Therefore, the roots of the given cubic equation are minus is 11, 11. So 2 positive root, real root, and 1 negative real root. So now the question is given as MCQ type. What is the question? If the question is given, the number of real roots of the equation x cube minus 15x square minus 33x plus 847 equals to 0 is option A, 0. That means no real root. 1, only one real root. 2 real root and 3 real root. So here you will see all the roots are real, and the roots are basically minus 7, 11 and 11. With the help of Cardan's method, you can solve it easily. So that means the roots, number of real roots is 3, and all other options are false. If the question is the number of positive real root of the equation x cube minus 15x square minus 33x plus 847 equals to 0 is option is 0, option B 1, 2, and option D 3. So you will see that 2 positive roots, 11 is basically 2 times. So option 2 is correct. Option C is correct. That means the number of positive root is 2. So that option is correct. All other options are false. So now I will give you one assignment that you will solve in your own way. But okay, with the help of Cardan's method, you will solve it. So what is the question? Your homework is that you will try in similar way you can solve it. Solve the equation with the help of Cardan's method. X cube plus 9x square plus 15x minus 25 equals to 0 by Cardan's method. And you will see here, I just give you the answer. You will see the roots are x are basically 1, -5, -5. That means you will see 2 negative real root and 1 positive real root. So thank you so much.